The Moleman tune-up and the Terrax tune-up. Yes, that's what we're going to be covering in this video. Now, there is a little bit of a thing to mention. Now, you probably might think, oh, in the CCP, you were able to look over the champion in its changed form. The answer is no, we weren't. So on screen at the moment, you've got the current stats and current abilities for Moleman, especially at the rarity. It's still in rank 1. I'm not doing anything with this, especially because I want to have a note to just say, if you can see here with critical hits, 100% chance to inflict the bleed debuff, dealing X amount of damage over 8 seconds. That's going to be quite crucial because now we're going to go over, and again, there's no kind of like official thing here, like official spotlights. In the yellow jacket and kingpin spotlights, when they're put up, whether or not there's going to be videos or forum stuff, they are complete reworks. These are tune-ups or little bits of changes to the champion, which fundamentally could mean for a more enjoyable damage dealing experience or be more utility based. We'll have to really see. But this is the stuff on screen, and like, take it as you are, but this is what is going to be the tune-up. This is taken from a conversation with a Kabam dev and some info with it. But again, as I said, this is crucial against something I just said, which was we saw that the bleed duration, which I did talk about just a second ago, showing the abilities 8 seconds to 6 seconds. So we'll just flash that up just now so you can see on screen. This is from the CCP beta, and just to kind of confirm that, there you go. And nothing has changed with that. So we weren't able to test out these champions in their changed forms. So when these go live, everybody will get a chance to play them at their changed perspective. So first of all, as I said, Moleman, and let's go over. So heavy monster mass charges from 1 is now to 4. Then we've got bleed on crit from 0.35 to 0.5. And I don't know if that is information based on the switch of damage. So it's like 0.35 damage. Now it's 0.5 that damage. Like, it's an increase the amount of bleed damage that one does. So where it says like now is like 262, will this be an increase of damage number? So say like it's going to be 300 based on rarity, based on rank. Those numbers will definitely differ, but the duration of time is reduced down to 6 seconds. So I think the main thing for players is, where does the top end of damage come from for the tune-up, and where will the damage largely come? For most of the time, it's playing the champion at a low health ratio to then do the most damage, which isn't exactly the nicest of things. But when it comes to the frenzy duration, that's going to be important, especially if you want to fire off as many specials as possible. Whilst in frenzy, especially with things like heavy attack, you are able to do a lot more damage with that, and the same thing with some of the specials. You're going to get some special things as well. So you gain 10 monster mash from doing this SP3, and I said monster mash, monster mass. He did the mass. He did the monster mass. Anyway, whatever. You also get some good stuff from being there, like guaranteed critical hits by being in a frenzied mode. So that's going to be good for Moleman. It's just down to like the loss of health against where this champion is playable or interesting. Because a lot of the times, even though, yeah, there's some great players out there that will be able to play at low health ratios, but as well, some of the time it's not always as straightforward as that. Sometimes it's going to be times where you want to have as much health as possible, especially if you're going to be dipping into revives or health potions along the way, or you want to just choose other champions for different kind of scenarios. But the really good news is that when we talked about the idea of percentages of health, at least the SP2 Fury no longer is percentage HP, now is flat, so that's something. And then true accuracy now lasts till 10 monster masses, and increased total monster mass by 20, so it's kind of cool. There's a little bit of a note from the developer that's basically saying that the SP2 is more time in frenzy and more damage, bleed damage. Address it for the most part. Most of the damage will still be in the bleed. His frenzy is much longer and way easier to manage, and it feels a lot more like Cat Marvel movie now. And he will take longer to get to frenzy though, and have true accuracy longer. So some key measures there to make the champion be more aggressive, more higher damage in delivery, which is going to be great. I'm relatively looking forward to Moleman and his changes. I still am on the fence with taking it even further. If I had a 6-star, possibly I'd kind of like opt for doing it just to kind of see where the damage goes with it. and I might have to kind of wait and see. I don't know if we'll get a chance. At the point of posting this video, this version that I've got on the CTP beta, and obviously the one that's on the main game, is not having the abilities as what we've seen from what we've just read. So that's a little bit on the disappointing side of things. Is Moleman a bad champion? No. Is it a case it's harder work on the champion? Yes. Is specifically some players like enjoy this champion and play it a lot more? Of course they do. But yeah, it's just one of these ones where it's going to be for some that are interested in this, and also interested in some of the changes that are coming in, and not for others. But still, that increase of damage, also the longer duration in frenzy, and the bleed damage entices and interests me for this champion, especially for some crazy interactions that could be occurring. So thoughts in the comment section about this, about Moleman and the tune-up. And the same thing really goes with Terrax. So for Terrax, there's a lot of potential here with the Power Cosmic, and in the various different types of immunities this champion possesses. The biggest downside has been the damage output side of things. Again, same principle as I said before. Numbers to keep in your mind is that on screen at the moment is and are the details, and as well the armor break, which says for 8 seconds, which is going to be important because as soon as I flash up now the imagery of the duration, it is 15 seconds. Again, to just show people that on the CTP beta, which you think like, okay, we'll get to test this out, it's not there. And the reason being is probably because it could be leaked to other info and whatnot. But look, it's a case that is we haven't had an opportunity to test it out. But to say that this is what I've seen from the dev team talking about. And armor break potency is 4% to 22%, which is going to be great for kind of like getting that kind of consistent dealing there. And as well, if you can have interactions where reducing down armor is applicable to taking down the champion or the node that they're on, like turtling I think it is, or other ones, or going up against Red Skull, then it's going to be quite cool. And also the durations is 15 seconds, which is nice as well. Armor break chance is now 20% to 35%. So that's really good. One of the most crucial changes comes, I think, with the heavy attack, especially from the way that it ramps up the damage potential for this champion. Normally when it comes to Rockfield, there is an improvement to your attack rating, but it looks like there's something either further or goes in line with the ability for the whilst in Rockfield, which is a very nice increase from 120% Fury to 200% Fury. And that's going to be great. That's going to be great for the way you change the champion. Also, like, will you look to like be quite aggressive and take the champion right into and up against the wall, and you're just trying to spam in those heavy attacks, which is going to be great, especially to go in line with the changes. One of those changes being that heavies can now crit if it breaks the block. Which I'm not saying I'm confused, but I kind of find it's odd to go with the current ability, which at the moment states that if the Rockfield is active, the attack is a guaranteed critical hit. Terrax does not gain power from this attack, so it's like, well, it kind of already does, but does he not? Based on this, was this something more than it was or could be? So yeah, it's like, I guess that's something for if you are. But it wouldn't be like if you're out of Rockfield, then you'd get the... Anyway, it's improved. Let's just go with that. Like, whether you're in Rockfield or out of Rockfield, you do crits. You do crits if the enemy's in a block. That's basically it. Apart from that, there's not really anything major. Do bear in mind, this is a tune-up. This isn't something that's a complete rework, which Yellow Jacket and Kingpin were. Especially with the SP3 armor break now is up to 50%. And heavy power drain is 50% of a bar of power. So there's some really good stuff there for this champion. And as I said, it'd be interesting to find out whether or not this is more on the front end of damage, or is it going to be a little bit in the middle when it comes to, I wouldn't say utility, but in the case that you can actually use this champion for different means. And as well, could it be more of a mean defender as well at the same time and have that balance? That is something to really see. But definitely from a point of immunities, this has always been a great champion for those particular interactions. It's just going to be interesting to see how much potency this champion indeed has. And there we go, that has been the overview. I don't know if there's going to be any video footage of these characters. I certainly can't access them to give them a try in their changed form. I don't know if there's going to be any kind of like spotlight or spotlight changes, especially on the forums. I've checked to find out if those spotlights have changed. They have not. So it's just going to be a case of going, when these go live, everyone gets to test, and I would say then those are going to be the times where players are going to be able to experience them and then give more of a, including myself, a full opinion on them and whether or not they have been good changes or bad changes, or whether or not these tune-ups have worked or not worked. We'll probably be posting a video about the Yellow Jacket and as well Kingpin changes tomorrow, so look for those videos, and have a good weekend whatever you're doing. Make sure as always to check out some of the recent content posted up and around there, especially a lot of the new stuff that's been posted about next month, and I'll see you all very soon. Have a lovely weekend. Bye bye for now.